Good morning to the Barbados Beach House Build channel. Hope you're all well. Thank you for subscribing and comments, etc. over the last few days. Been much appreciated. Welcome to a few new people. Yes, we had a lot of rain in the last couple of days, so I'll show you how we cope with that. And we've also got some air conditioning action going on today. So before I start, don't forget to give me a thumbs up below. Give me some comments, that'd be greatly appreciated. I do like engaging with people that ask questions and give me some suggestions. Pool is looking very topped up because of the rain we've had. I don't know if you're aware, but we had hurricane. We had the storm Brett come through last week, which was just a bit of wind and a little bit of rain. But we've had a bit of a knock-on couple of days of rain. Yesterday was really brutal. But anyway, we coped well. No leaks, nothing going on. Here was obviously quite high in water, as you can see the line here on the wall. That's where the water was. So we had quite a bit of water down there. And as we've shown you before, my little fire pit is now a mini pond. So, air conditioning saga continues. We're going to be swapping out one of the units today. They're both 3-ton units, which I'll show you in a second. We're swapping one of them out to a 5-ton. The cassette downstairs that handles all the air is actually a 3-ton as well. So normally you can't change a 5-ton to a 3-ton cassette. But the actual temperature we're getting out of the cassette downstairs is quite high, meant to be low. So as you can appreciate, normally air conditioning is 16, 17 degrees upwards. As I've shown you on the videos, we're struggling to get more than 21 out of them. So sticking a 5-ton unit on it will help us, take the temperature down into that unit. So we've got at least another 5 degrees to play with there. So fingers crossed, changing out the actual condenser from a 3 to a 5 might do the job. So let me show you very quickly where we are now. So we have these two units here, as you can see, two 3-ton identical Goodmans, feeding, one of them feeding the front of the house here and one of them feeding the other side over there. These are struggling to get lower than 21 degrees out of the grills themselves. So we're going to be swapping this one out. Hopefully this one here is for the living room. We're going to be swapping that one for a 5-ton. And this one here is going to be for the bedrooms. So again, I've had a real good think. Am I going to go with some cheap? Am I going to go for the standard white plastic split system on the walls that are in the room that just do each room? Do I go with a second version of that, which is a central system underneath, but for each room, or do I go for a central system like this that feeds multiple rooms? So the boys are here with loads of rolls of copper. Let me take you downstairs and show you roughly what we're going to be doing. So, the basement, or the bunker as I call it. So, here we have a split system. And what we're potentially going to be looking at doing is something very similar to what we've done with the rest of the house. But we're going to be mounting over here. So we're going to start with our bedroom here. So our bedroom underneath here, as you can appreciate, it's quite a big room. Then behind here, it's actually got the walk-in closet and it's got the bathroom. So we're thinking about mounting a system on the ceiling here and then having these holes that we've had made in the concrete as we poured the floor. That will be a drawer, so that will pull hot air from the room. That will be a feed, so that will feed cold air. That will feed cold air. Now the downside is we've got to feed the other two rooms around this beam. So we are going to have to come down and around this beam on both ends. So this one here is our closet. So we're going to make that a drawer. So that will pull hot air and that will pull hot air. So we're going to have a box that's going to go all the way along here. Obviously it's going to have to go around the beam here, but we're going to get that as close as we can to this beam. So that will be the pulling the hot air down from the rooms into the unit that will be housed here to feed cold air, feed cold air, and feed cold air. So the bathroom will have its own feed, and the bedroom will have 2 cold feeds, and then obviously we get into 2 hot drawers. Then we're going to have to obviously drill a hole through this beam here, central, about here, so that we can actually take the copper and the power, and then we're going to have to run that all the way along this beam to the very end. And then we're going to have to drop down, and then behind here we're going to have to drill a hole in the block wall there. And then as a result of that, same as this one here, all the services were drilled through the wall into the bowling alley, and then we ran it all the way down the bowling alley. So again, that's a 3-ton unit there. So at the moment, that is struggling to get air coming into the room lower than 21 degrees. and that's 3 ton. So if we put a 5 ton on the back, then hopefully it should get all of the actual elements in here colder, which means we might reduce the temperature upstairs by 2-3 degrees. So if we could start getting 18-19 degrees coming out the vents, then obviously we're going to cool the room quicker than we are at this present time. So that's where we are with that at the moment. So this is all working okay, but it's just not as cold as it needs to be. So we'll try swapping out the condenser first. We're going to go with the central system for these rooms. However, let me know in the comments below what you recommend I should do. These systems, we can do that on each one of these rooms. So this is a bedroom here. We can mount another one here. We can feed that one there. Where's the other one gone? I'm lost. Where am I? Oh, it's here. So we've got 2. We've got a drawer, so we pull hot air out of the room, feed it with cold. So we can do that. But again, the ducting and the machine and everything's all going to be up here, and we're going to lose headspace with regards to using this area. Or do we put just the white plastic units on the walls for these bedrooms? I think I might proceed with putting mini splits on the 3 bedrooms at the back. And the downside to that, it does mean that the bathroom won't have one. So I'll have to think about what to do where the bathroom's concerned. This is the bathroom here. So it's quite a thin bathroom, as you know. There it is, going straight through here. And there's the feed for it. So in an ideal world, we do want some old cold air going into the bathroom as well. Otherwise it would be bloody hot. So we'll have to think about what to do with that. I don't really want to be running an air conditioning system into a bathroom on its own. And that's the joy of doing the split system over here. You know, as much as it's going to be more expensive and we're going to have all this ductwork problems, the good thing about this unit is that we can actually run 3 feeds. So it's going to have a cold feed here, and we can also drive one to the bathroom as well. So the bathroom will be cooled down, and so will the bedrooms. The only thing that won't be cooled down is the actual closet, but the closet itself will be pulled, the hot air will be pulled from that, which means the cold air will work its way back this way. So it will cool itself, but not as direct as it would be if we actually had the cold feeds going in. Let me know what you think. The splits work out around about, depending on the size obviously, between 2,500 and 3 and a bit thousand. And when you're going to these underground mounted systems, you are talking about sort of 5,000 to 6,000 each. So it is more cost effective and no ducting. So let me know what you think I should do. Let me take you upstairs and I'll show you around. That's what we've been doing elsewhere as well. Okay, so I had a little bit of reorganisation down here. We're still cleaning up down here. Here's obviously a lot more empty now. I'm going to be turning this into a little gym. I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, but I'm going to turn this into a little gym. It's very hot down here. So I bought a couple of punch bags and whatever else. I'm going to mount them down here. So at the moment, I think I said on one of my previous videos, we are talking about potentially doing down here and making it a bit nicer. So do we plasterboard it? Do we plaster it? Either way, I want it nice and smooth and white. But what I don't want to be doing is spending, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 on getting it looking white. So if I can try and find a couple of masons that are willing to come out and plaster it on a day rate for me, then with the materials and the cement mixers and stuff like that, it shouldn't be that expensive to plaster it. If I do it on a price, they normally charge about 9 to 10 beige in a square foot. So it would work out about 10,000 to get it done down here. I think it's a square foot. Whereas if I get them on a day rate, about 150 a day, 2 guys, maximum 5 days worth of work, they can plaster in here and have this completely nice and done. Then we can just paint it white and it's job done. So yeah, that's where we are with that. So I'm thinking about doing down here, but again, scale of priority is certainly not a priority, that's for sure. Sorry, Sean. Oh. Still nothing on here at the moment, but the plants are bedding in nicely. And obviously the rain we've been having is much needed. And I've shown you the electric room and stuff like that, so that's all finished. So other than that, that's where we are so far. I'll update you throughout the day, obviously, as and when the air conditioning starts going in. I think they're aiming to have that done within 2 days. So today and tomorrow, hopefully the bedroom will be live and functional. I might even start getting some sleep, that'd be nice. So I'll leave it where it is for now. Don't forget to give me some comments below and a thumbs up and subscribe if you can. And I'll check on you in a minute throughout the day. Thank you. Okay, so we have a delayed follow-on from the install and the air conditioning, so let me show you what's been going on. The units have now been obviously put on the actual the bedroom ceiling stroke basement floor. All the actual trunking has been run through, all of the ductwork's been complete. The next stage is going to be routing the condensation that comes off the unit into the right place. At the moment it's going into a bucket, so we need to find a good route for that because of how low the ceilings are next door, and also where we're going to mount the thermostat itself, obviously for the room. So at the moment it's down here. We're going to have to find a way of actually drilling through the ceiling and finding the cavity between the block wall and the plasterboard, so we can actually then route the actual cable up through and mount the thermostat without actually having any trunking or cables visible. So that's obviously what we want to do. So let me spin you around and show you the install. Okay, so they've gone with one of their units themselves. I can't remember the brand, and we'll have a look at it outside in a minute, but there's the actual cassette itself. Really quiet compared to that monster over there. The ductwork here, so we've actually got a return just above here, and we've got a return over here, which is about here. So basically this is our closet upstairs. So we put a return in the closet, we put a return on the right hand side of the bedroom, and then we've got a cold feed to the middle of the bedroom. We've got a cold feed to the left hand side of the bedroom, and then we've got this temporary feed coming in and feeding the bathroom. So that's 3 feeds and 2 returns, and that system, as far as I'm aware, is 36,000 BTU, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's about 3 ton, I think. So, sorry to make you dizzy, but there's the spec there. Yeah. So, nice clean install. It should be roughly the same power as this one. So this one's bloody noisy and quite big compared to this one itself. So from my point of view, it's definitely better to go for something that's more slimlined and quiet, as this one is. And upstairs, the actual floor temperature we're getting out at the moment is 9 degrees, and it's currently set to 25. So it's set to 25, and we're receiving 9 out of the floor, which means the room upstairs is freezing cold. Now this one is currently set to 25. It's struggling to get anything more than 21 out of the floor. So I'm not too sure. Let me know in the comments below if anyone's skilled at something that I'm not, because at the moment we are struggling to get the actual the temperature we need coming out the floor, which means that we're never going to get the room to the temperature required. We literally, you walk into that room and it's lovely and cool, and when you come out into the main living area, you really feel the heat. Even though it's getting down to 29, 28, 29 now, it's still very warm compared to that room. So are we better off removing this unit and actually having one of these units put in? Because without being rude, that is more efficient at the moment. But obviously at the moment it's taking air out of what in effect is from here that way. So it's taking air out of that space and cooling it around and pumping it back into that room, whereas this one is doing it on double the space. So it is having to do a harder job, and it is using quite a bit of flexible as well over the rigid. And I know there's not a massive difference, but it certainly would make an effect, that's for sure. And we've also only got 2 returns on this one. So we've got the returns here, we've got one here and one here. They're both about 13 inches square above. So they're the only 2 returns at the moment coming into the unit. And then the unit is feeding 1, 2, 3, 4 floor areas. So it's actually feeding 4 places. Is it 4? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's feeding 4, returning 2. So is that the problem? Is it the unit itself? Is it the setup? Is it all of it plus the size of the room? I'm not too sure. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think. It's certainly interesting to see this one now in place and working. It's very quiet compared to that one, and it's cooling that room down absolutely brilliantly. So is it because of the size of the room or not? I don't know. I'm certainly not an air conditioning engineer, so forgive me for my inexperience, but any comments or any advice would be greatly appreciated if you don't mind. I'll take you upstairs now and I'll show you the condenser that I've actually put in, which is different than the other ones. The other ones are floor mounted, facing the fan facing upwards, and the one they put in for this machine is a floor standing one, but obviously the fan faces out left rather than up. So I'll show you that in a second, and then we can see what you think about the difference. Bear with me a second. Okay, let me show you. So, Canyon. It's a proof supplier on the island of a Canyon. So, these are the Goodman ones we got, obviously. They're both flat out, as you can see, struggling inside. There's the mains we've had put in, so there's the third mains. Here is the actual unit from Canyon. So again, same sort of size unit but a different style. These ones seem to be holding up okay. Got a bit of a colour going on the fins themselves from obviously the sand, etc. But they're still holding up and looking okay, but there's definitely an issue at the moment with regards to what they can handle from an output point of view, so we definitely need to look at that. Anyway, I'm going to go on. So there's the units in at the moment. We are talking about potentially swapping these out and putting 5-ton ones in there and changing the cassettes as well. So we'll look at the other options. We've got to make sure we get the inside to temporary. Certainly can't have it the way it's at the moment because we've got an expensive system in there and it really is struggling, which means it's on all the time. So the electric bill is huge, which is no good. So anyway, I'll check on you a bit later on. I'm going away and I'll come back and I'll do another video. But I hope you like so far. Don't forget to help me with the subscriptions below and the comments and any advice on what's going on downstairs that we can correct. The more the merrier. Thank you.